Welcome to Founded in Transcreation, the first ever podcast on transcreation as a service where we delve into how brands cross borders. And today I have the pleasure of introducing Sylvia Bixek. She's an English-Polish business legal corporate translator specializing in corporate communication. She loved English from the very first classes she took in high school. Her passion for languages took her to an American college where she immersed herself in English. This experience helped Sylvia realize that most people felt like herself, intrigued by foreign languages, in love with the communication aspect, in need of native help to build relationships across borders. When Sylvia returned to Poland, she enrolled in a full MA English Studies program and honed her passion for language, her knack for business, and her talent for communication to perfection. Today, Sylvia Bixek helps bridge cultural differences and linguistic nuances. There is nothing more rewarding for her than to see English and Polish-speaking companies communicate and grow their businesses together. You can contact Sylvia on her LinkedIn profile. You can check her website www.eng-translator.pl. And again, Sylvia, welcome to the podcast. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much, Delfina, and thank you for your kind invitation. I'm very excited and honored to be here.
Yeah, where are you based?
I live in Warsaw, Poland.
And well, we've just listened to your presentation, but how did you choose your field of specialization as a translator?
Well, the story is linked definitely to my experience in the US. I thought, the interesting story is that I studied nursing at the American college, because at that time I thought that there's nothing better than helping people get better. When I returned to Poland, it turned out that nursing is not such a great profession, and I had to come up with something else. And using English seemed a good choice. And then later on, I had my family, little kids, so translation just seemed, the perfect solution to use my language skills, to be at home mom and at home business person. And
Right.
I thought that legal and business issues and texts were in such abundance that I would have always something to do. But then when I think about it now, I think that there was a deeper reason as well, and it concerned communication. Because when I was in America, communicating with the natives was one of the obstacles I had to overcome, and it really helped me appreciate that knowing languages is such a great weapon to bring people together. And as a translator and a business translator, I can help companies to work together despite coming from different countries or speaking different languages.
Right, bridging the gap, right? As the idiom would go. And you mentioned you have a family. How many kids?
2 kids. They are grown-ups now.
Right.
So I can work with on translations, and kids are not an excuse anymore, to have to choose between one or the other.
Right. I always wonder, how do translator moms do it? because I mean, as freelance business owners, and this is how I see most freelance translators, we have to not just produce our work, right? Translate proper or transcreate or localize or whatever, but we also have to promote ourselves. We have social media now that's specifically LinkedIn is, I think, the most important platform to use when we have to promote our services. And you in particular, you have an admirable presence on LinkedIn, I believe. What's your strategy? What's your content marketing strategy, Sylvia?
Well, it's been a process. I will be frank and honest to say that LinkedIn has not been easy, an easy road for me. It took me time to get used to it and learn how to communicate. And I came up and eventually came up with a system to be present and at the same time have peace of mind. I decided to divide my content into categories. So it would be easier for me to come up with individual posts. So I, for example, decided I would like to communicate and have categories in Polish language, Polish culture, business tips, things like that. And I would post, for example, 3 times a week. And within the Polish language category, I would, for example, post something about surnames or about formal forms in Polish. So it just was easier to organize it than to have the ideas about individual posts. But at the same time, our reality, our working reality changes for translators from week to week almost, or sometimes even from day to day. So I also learned, to be okay not to post sometimes and to have to focus more on work when that's necessary, rather than beat myself up that I don't post 3 times per week. It's something that I don't always do because I just can't. So I learned also to be to feel okay about it. On the other hand, it also always helps to prepare the content beforehand, not to leave it until the last moment. So it's always a balancing act, I would say.
Yeah, those are very interesting tips in a way. And you have been doing videos, right, since 2020,
Yes.
and I see that you have lots of engagement. What would you attribute your engagement to? Why would you say people respond to your videos? Even when you talk to clients, there are hundreds of translators out there responding to your videos.
Well, I don't know what to say. Obviously, it's very I'm very happy, to see the engagement, and also not only from translators, but from other entrepreneurs too. I think that I try to balance the translation issues and more general issues, so more people could relate to that. And I think that we need more translation-related videos too. I know that it's also another process that I go through, a development process, and accepting myself, to expose myself on video. And I've grown to really like it and enjoy it. And I think that's where the engagement comes, because I don't stress about it. I don't strain about it. It's just natural. It's almost like posting, but in a different form. When you post, you also communicate. You have to think about, people that would read it, and you engage with them through the written word. And video is just another way of communicating. And I also think that with video, you can use your mimic or your body language to your advantage and to make the message just more authentic.
Yeah.
Many people think about exposing themselves, but I think that it's a matter of mindset and just changing the perspective. What you fear could be your weapon and your tool to, reach across and speak to people.
Yeah. Yeah, so true. And you're very genuine, right? I see your videos, and what you're saying is just like that. I mean, you're genuine. You're not pretending. You're not making a fuss. And I think that's important to focus on being yourself, whatever that means.
Yes, and really like
everyone.
it. I mean, at the beginning, I was very tense, and I feared to forget words, but it's just, it's a process. It's really a process, and when you embrace it, it really comes much easier. And it's not a problem to record a minute or two. It's really, it's all in the head, I would say. So the more practice, the easier it gets.
True, those are great motivational tips. And just one final question on this. Do you have a set day and time when you say, okay, this is the Sylvia that will record a video for LinkedIn, or not?
Yes, very much so. It's usually Sundays because it's such a slow day and quiet. And I got used to record on Sunday mornings about noon time. And it always makes things easier because in my mind, I know that Sunday is video time. And I don't question that anymore. It's just a part of the schedule. And sometimes coming up with the ideas might seem difficult, but I use just simple situations that come up every day in everyday life. And I try to look at it from different angle, or how can I share it with others. And it's nothing really special.
Well, for me it is, because I see it also as a creative exercise, and I also see how disciplined you've become here, that you've adopted a habit, right? For you, Sundays is our video time, as you said. So that's a habit, and it's a marketing habit. And as you said, it's another way of communicating, of showing something else, especially now that we're all, in this virtual world. Everything's gone even more virtualized. I mean, using body language, video CVs are also coming up again as something useful and growing more popular. So I see it as a success story in a way of how a freelance business owner in the localization market is using video to tell a story, to talk about everyday scenarios, and to create this natural engagement as you do. So congrats. I admire it, and
thank you.
And I'm really happy that you're here sharing some behind the scenes details of your strategy. Thank you. So, talking about transcreation, I was wondering, is there a Polish word for transcreation?
Yes, that would be transcreacja.
Oh,
so it's very close.
Yes, it's very close, to the English.
Yes.
Transcreacja. Oh, I love how it sounds. Creacja, the consonant cluster there. Am I pronouncing your name right? Bixek?
Biczyk. That's why. That's because Z make one sound. Ch. So Biczyk.
I should have asked earlier. Sorry.
No problem. It means small whip.
Oh, I remember one of your posts on surnames. Yes.
Yes.
And how each of them have meanings in Polish. Very interesting.
Many of them, yes. Also, the Polish surnames often give away the sex of the person. Not in the case of my surname, because it ends with a consonant, but
Right.
those that end with I or A, that they show the sex of the person. So those ending with A would be women, and with I would be men.
Wow, I didn't know that. Sylvia, when I asked you, you said that you haven't had much experience with transcreation until recently, and that you
Yes.
used to translate lots of contracts, reports, codes of practice, where there was little chance to adapt the final message. But creative writing for you has always been appealing, and that combining that with translations seems like a perfect solution. What are the main differences that you, from your experience, can spot between translation and transcreation?
I think that transcreation is about getting into the head of the person that is the end user of the translation. And when translating legal documents, the focus is on being faithful and being very precise. And with transcreation gives you wings, to be creative and to think about the recipient and how they will receive that text. So it's more client oriented or recipient oriented, and then you can really let go of your creativity and think, and create something new that's not there yet.
Right, right. And could you share with us, without disclosing any brand names or anything, any particular anecdote or case from your professional experience with transcreation?
So I've been recently asked to be a translator for an American agency, and the task is very specific because it's directed to Polish people living in America but not speaking English. So when I prepared the text for them, I can't think as a Polish living in Poland. I have to think like a Polish living in the States. So this is tricky, really, because, for example, I have to translate the names of the lesser-known agencies and organizations. I have to come up with translations of initiatives or programs, but I have to leave the units of distance, for example. So they use miles. So miles have to stay in Polish version, which doesn't make sense because normally I would have to convert it into kilometers, for example, which we have in Poland. So things like that, and getting into shoes of a Polish American is a strange experience.
And it happens to me, with Spanish for the US, right? It's like
exactly.
a mix.
Yes.
Like you can't convert measurements, but you have to adapt this, but you can do this.
Exactly. Yes, I have to think what they know and what they might not know.
Right.
So it's a bit of a guessing game, but it's really so stimulating. I love it, and also the fact that I receive every day I receive new texts, and they deal with things that happen in the United States in little towns and communities, and it's incredible. I love it that it's so diverse. Very much different from contracts that I'm used to, where the structure and the terminology is all very rigid.
Right.
So
yeah.
I'm starting to love transcreation just because it gives me the freedom to express myself a little bit.
Yes, and in a manner that will be beneficial for the end user, as you explained. And there's also a project that you mentioned. I think we were discussing this via email about a Polish chapter.
Yes.
In an
Yes. So
organization.
Yes, I've been honored to be invited to be a Polish ambassador for a British business organization called BITA, which stands for British Irish Trading Alliance. And it's an organization that brings together companies initially in Great Britain and Ireland. But over the last year, it's been growing and reaching out to other places. And Poland is one of such places. And I'm the ambassador, which means that we want to open official chapter here in Poland and marriage British and Polish companies to work together and help each other and grow.
Right.
So it's also a very interesting challenge because I'm also translating the marketing materials and will translate website material for Polish companies that would like to be members. And it's also interesting because the originals that I received to translate, they obviously show the perspective for British and Irish companies. And now with Polish companies, I have to adapt. For example, I have to explain how the organization works and what are the affiliates, how the members communicate, what they can offer each other. So in case of Polish companies, it's not only the language barrier, but also little details about how the organization works.
Right.
So we are in the process of adapting the marketing material.
Yeah, and you probably find yourself kind of in between marketing localization and a little bit of transcreation if there are more creative headings, subheadings,
yes.
call to actions and stuff like that.
And also when I was explaining, to the executives of BITA, what I would do with the marketing guide, I had to explain that what I need to do, why I need to do it, and also that support that I will need when creating the translation. For example, that I would need an editor or proofreader,
Right.
to read the final version and to really make it a copy that Polish companies would take, as without feeling that it's a translation, but
Right.
it's a text prepared especially for them.
Mm-hmm. And did they get it? Did they understand that this?
Not yet. It's in the process.
Okay.
It's in the process. Yes.
Okay.
Also because we have to work on the website because
right.
Website is also one of the tools that any company would check when collecting information about a new organization. So these materials should come together: the marketing guidelines and also the website.
True.
So first it seems that such a interesting idea, but now we get down to practical steps and it's a lot of work. But yes, but I love this kind of challenges really, because you you create something and it's such a wonderful experience. To create something and be together in a process with other people, with other team members, and through brainstorming and hard work, you come up with a solution that will serve others. It's a wonderful feeling.
Yes, and the translator, transcreator here sort of becomes kind of like a creative partner for this team, right? And you're in conversations with these people who are your clients, and they can see how you work, and you can be absolutely open about that and show the processes and why they are important, in each and every step toward the final marketing goals, right? I mean, the more localized, the better with the paid website, whatever, resonate with the Polish people, and that's what they need.
Yes, especially that Polish people are also often reserved. They are not very open, and I mean they are warm, but the first
you're warm.
The first reaction is to be a little bit reserved. So we really have to work on the text to, to make them trust the organization and see the incredible benefits that they will get from international cooperation.
That's why I always say that transcreators, they need to have this cultural know-how beyond the text itself. This thing that you're saying, no, because Polish people are this and that, so we need to work on this. That's a value-added service. I mean, that's something that perhaps not everyone will be able to offer, combined with great translation skills and marketing know-how. So all those things are necessary, and we as transcreators become sort of cultural advisors for our clients, not just linguists, right?
Yes. But I also think that it's wonderful that clients or that organization in this case, they are so open, to have their texts reorganized and changed and converted into completely different piece of work. So I think it should be appreciated. It's not only our work, but also their openness and flexibility and appreciation for what we can do.
Yes, the client that requests transcreation, they already know that it's necessary for them to be like that. I mean, and what usually happens is that they often request also a back translation, so as to have someone from their organization or brand check, okay, so the text is being adapted, but if they were converted back into the source language, what would it read like, sound like, more or less? So it's the way of kind of keeping control in a way.
Sure. But more or less, I think it's the key word here.
Yes, because I mean, I also think that it's kind of an illusion that if you read the back translation, you will know exactly what the text is. It's not possible. I mean, for me, already in translation, we are already creating a whole new text, even if it's a literal translation, because you're simply changing language systems, and language systems are ingrained in culture. And I mean, well, that's quite a philosophical debate for another episode. So final question, Sylvia, apart from these very exciting and challenging creative projects, is there anything you'd like to comment on, any upcoming projects or even personal projects, trips, whatever, even in spite of this context that you're up to?
Well, I will try, to focus as much as possible on that beta project and also my American agency projects. They are both relatively new things, and things are start rolling right now. So I'm very busy.
Right. Yeah.
Every day I'm trying to come up with extra time.
You told me. Yes.
Yes, but it's exciting. I love this kind of challenges, and I'm thinking about finding other translators to help me, which is another step in development as a translator, and business owner. So I'm starting to dive into issues that are completely new for me, like recruiting new people and teaching them my expectations and style of work. And so everything is very new, very exciting, and I don't know. things will be fine, I'm sure.
Yeah, I trust so too, and I can tell from your body language that you are truly excited and happy and enjoying the process, as stressful as it may be, or as demanding, let's say, as it may be. And I think that's the right attitude, that's the right spirit, right? Especially when dealing with creativity and marketing and the fast-paced world we live in. So I wish you the best of luck and success, and for your clients, of course, as well, as a result.
Thank you. It would be wonderful to start traveling and visit clients here and there. That would be great, because I also believe in very personalized relations, and it would be great not only to meet on Zoom, but in person too.
Does you feel like hugging people when you meet them? I feel like maybe because I'm Argentinian, but when I when I meet someone that I met
Mm-hmm.
before, I feel like touching them. I mean, that has to do with I know one has to respect cultural codes and everything, but I
Yes,
have this
yes.
urge like to, oh hi, how are you? This is the
Well,
first
Polish
time.
people are usually quite reserved. They are not
Yeah.
huggers. But
No.
me personally, I wouldn't have anything against, especially if I know that person, even from LinkedIn or from
Yeah.
Zoom meetings. If I know
Yeah.
that person well, and we have chemistry,
Yeah.
and we understand each other, then no problem.
Okay. Don't worry, I won't be reaching out over there, not in person. I will not be heading for
No
Poland
problem for me.
until many years to come. Okay. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Sylvia. Thank you for your insights and tips and experience.
Thank you very much for our meeting and for our discussion about transcreation. It's very interesting to share.
Thank you for stopping by at yet another episode of Founded in Transcreation, the first ever podcast on this niche service in the localization industry. I really, really hope that you loved this episode as much as I did. Thank you, Sylvia Bixek, for taking part in this episode, and you stay tuned for more.